Hello guys, this is Feeding Frenzy 91 and I once again come to you with some Walking Dead character bios, the show or series where I dissect group members of the game and say whether they're important, what they did, why they were there, and really just see what their personality was like. Alright, this time we're going with one personal favorite of mine, the one who appeared in episode 2, Mark. Now, people really do not realize how important Mark was to this game because Mark only appeared in one episode. Even in that episode, he wasn't there too long. During the entrance to episode 2, you see Mark and Lee talking. Now, the significance of this is that Mark is new. See, the player episode 2, we need to remember, is the longest gap. There's 3 months in between it, at least. With episode 3 and 4 not long, episode 2 and 3 not long, episode 4 and 5 basically seconds with that one. So we needed this scene to tell what had happened, and it wouldn't make sense to come from a guy who had been in the group the whole time because Mark is asking questions that the player already knows, like how Larry is, how Lily is. It only makes sense from a guy who's new. Also, Mark is the only player to wear glasses. Mark is the only player to that I think was added to the group off screen. Everybody else had been added in an episode. So it actually makes Mark unique in sorts. Mark also is he's not the only player to be amputated since Lee can be amputated. But Mark is I believe, the only player in the game that has no choice but to be amputated. You can count the stranger's wife at the end, but that's not a part of the group. I mean, in the group, not just the game. Now, people liked Mark because Mark was a cool character. He was like, and it really didn't um, matter what you said because Mark's attitude toward Lee can change. He was very cool.
I just want you to know that I've got your back if anything goes down.
Now, I know cool characters in this game are hard to come by, but Mark is he's just one of the very few who's just cool. What I mean is, no matter what you do, he's good with it. No matter Another one would be Katja, but I'll talk more about that when I actually do her bio. But other than that, Mark is just a very unique character because he was also in the army with Lily and Larry, but he doesn't seem to know either, and he worked in the same base. I would have thought they would have seen each other. Other than that, Mark is also very prophetic in this game. It's like God was telling him what was going to happen to him during the whole game. But it was really just two scenes in particular where Mark said things that later came to be.
Yeah, except then I'd probably be food by now. I know I wouldn't want to be stuck in a room with him.
Now, even though Mark's character seems well developed, it also seemed kind of unfinished for me. Like Mark wasn't given as much a role as he should, since you barely see him through the old episode 2. I guess it wouldn't have made sense. But what I found out was that Mark was supposed to die by the bandits if you rescued the teacher. Now, I don't know what that means, but I can only assume that if you rescued the teacher, Travis was supposed to live. And if Travis lived, he was supposed to be the one who got his leg eaten by the St. John's. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I have to assume since I read actually that the originally Mark was supposed to die by the bandits only if you saved David, and that's the only logical explanation I could come up with. Now, because if you didn't save David, obviously Travis would have to die so that he could be reanimated, and Ben could tell everybody that this, is not just a bite that kills you. Now, Mark, one thing about him is he is very trusting, and he wants to work together.
Come on, Lily, these are people. People trying to survive just like us. We've got to stick together to survive.
Now, the problem with that is Mark brings that same attitude to the St. John's farm, a place where he really should not bring this whole trusting attitude to. Mark almost trusts the St. John's right off the back. He's seen talking to them. The other guys are a little suspicious, but he's seen talking to them. And I mean, he is really just overly anxious, especially right now.
We have a vet. We could bring her here. We can help you folks out.
I mean, really, Mark is he's the guy who really wants to stay at this farm. Everybody else, even though Kenny does at first, he is later suspicious too, but Mark never really gets suspicious, obviously, because he gets his legs cut off later. But even initially, if you tell him to be suspicious, Mark won't be. He's very anxious to get everybody there.
Can't wait until everyone's out here. Everyone besides Larry.
So that was really made these scenes really hard to watch when you first found Mark in the bathroom. It seemed to be like a whole irony thing. Mark was the most trusting guy toward these people, and then ends up just with, because I mean, even when he comes back with the arrow in his arm and the guy says, "Oh well, you screamed, so I thought that you were telling me to put the fence on." That doesn't make sense since Mark screamed after the fence, but Mark asks no questions. He's like just so trusting, which actually is his downfall in the end. He trusted these farmers. He trusted them to look over him. He should have said, "No, don't worry about me. Just let me take this arrow out." But then again, without that, we wouldn't have gotten scenes like this. I mean, it just wouldn't have happened. Anyway, Mark, like I said, he's a very important character. He's a very unique character, one to have many traits that nobody else in this game has. And he was a cool character. I really wish that he had lived past. Maybe they should have had just Travis get his legs eaten and let Mark live past. I think it would have been really good. But I'm still glad the way they did it in the end, though. Anyway, well, that's all for now. Next time I will be talking about another personal favorite character of mine. But other than that, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and God bless.